Hi, my name is Ed Pember and I work for the Academic Learning Centre at Central Queensland University. I've made this video for you, students of Financial Accounting Theory, to give you some help and assistance in doing assignment 1. The outline of the video today is going to be basically to present some overview of the task, some important information about the task, and then to tackle each part of the assignment, the 4 questions. At the end of the presentation, I'll be giving you some general advice and tips on how you can do well in this assignment. So, the overview. The due date, you should check your course profile. It's usually due in week 9 of your term, but do check with the course profile to find the exact date. It's worth 40%, so it's obviously quite important. About 3,000 words approximately. And you have the option of working as an individual, doing your own work, or working in a group. If you do choose to work in a group, I advise you to have a look at the Great Guide to University, which is available on the CQU website. That gives you, look at the chapter on group work, it gives you some background and some useful tips about working in groups. Working in groups can be very beneficial and can be excellent. It can also be quite difficult, and so in investigating how you can work with a group and make your group work better is a vital thing to do if you choose to go down that path. Overall, the task is about 2 accounting theories, so public interest theory and economic interest group theory. You need to find an article for each theory, so you're finding 2 articles in total and apply these articles to the case study in the newspaper article. Once you've applied this, you need to consider the implications of these theories on accounting regulation generally. Another important part of this task is to reflect on your learning and the learning process. So part A is about critically evaluating resources. It's worth 10% of the marks, so which is 10% of your final grade. Obviously quite an important part. It's about 800 words long. You need to find scholarly academic journal articles. It's best to use the library database for this. You should also use the library help. So on the front page of the library, there is a library help section that can help you to find information about evaluating sources. There's also a Moodle document. There's also a document on Moodle that helps you evaluate sources. You can analyze your summarize your analysis in a table. Is one way of doing it. I'll quickly show you the article on evaluating sources that's available on Moodle. So as you can see, there are 5 main things that we look at when we evaluate sources: currency, reliability, coverage, accuracy, and author credentials. There are a number of different ways that you can analyze a source, but it's basically critically looking at the source and trying to figure out what its strengths and weaknesses are. This is one way of looking at a source, but as I said, there are many different ways of doing it. Have a read through that document. It is available to you through Moodle. Generally, when we evaluate a source, there are some things that we should ask. So most of this information comes from the document I just showed you, but it's also general questions we should ask when we evaluate a source. So, for example, who wrote it? What are their qualifications? Have they published widely or not? Are they workers in the field? How long have they been in the field? Basically, who is the writer? Also, we think about who the audience is. So, for whom did the author write? Was it for a select crew of people who know very much about their field, or was it for a general purpose article? It's always very important to consider the audience that it was written for. Following on from that really is, who did they write it for? Is there any bias? So was it written for government? Was it written for United Nations? Really, when we think about why did they write it, we can think about any bias they might have. Obviously, when is very important. Were there any important economic factors or accounting regulation factors that came in before or after the document? And these things are obviously very important. If it's a very old document, why are you using an old document? Generally, you should look for documents that are within the last 5 years, unless you've got a very good reason for using a historical document. We also think about the strengths and weaknesses. So here you can consider the methodology for research, scope of research, how many different case studies or how many different people were interviewed. Also, we think about the references. How extensive is the reference list from that journal article? Another thing that we need to think about is how well does it inform you about the topic? So what is the usefulness of the topic to you for this assignment? Obviously a very important part of why you're reading it. A possible structure for part A would be to briefly summarize the article, so to say what's the main point, what does it discuss, in which context, critically analyze the source, so the questions from previously, who wrote it, the strengths and weaknesses of the research. And then a third section for a possible structure would be, what does it really help you? How does it help you to answer the question? What important information does it give? What are the main ideas that you're drawing from this source to help you answer the question? So if we look at part B, here we're doing a practical application of the accounting theory. So part B is 24 marks, again 24%, that's a quarter of the whole course. It's very, very important. Obviously it's most of the work of this assignment, and it's divided into 3 subsections. Section 1 is about 1,200 words, 12 marks, again 12%. In this section you explain the theories as expressed in the journal articles that you're looking at. So you can and should use other articles to support your explanation. So here we're talking about set texts from your course that your teacher has given you, and also further research that you might wish to do. I would definitely consult extra journal articles and a textbook as well if possible, if not 2. Here you're really focusing on the key features of the theory. Don't focus on the case, just really what's the theory about? What are the main points of the theory? Section B is worth 7 marks and about 500 words. In this section we really think about which theory of regulation best explains the position of the HKSA in 2004. So that's the case study. So we're thinking about which part of the regulation, which part of the theory applies best to the HKA, to the case study. And it's really important that you justify your answer here. So explain how the theory relates to the case. Why does the HKSA want to adopt certain accounting standards? What are the benefits of it? And also, how does the theory relate to the HKSA's point of view? So what do the Hong Kong accountants think of the accounting theory? How does it relate to where they're at and what they're considering? The last section of part B is worth 5 marks. It's about 300 words. So here we're thinking about what was the difference about the regulatory process 2 years earlier. So we're looking at the case study. How have things changed from 2 years earlier in the case study, and what accounting regulation theory were they thinking about in previous years? Which theory was dominant then? So you need to choose, was it public interest theory or the other theory that was more dominant at the time? And you must justify why you believe that. So explain how the theory relates to the Hong Kong accounting society's position in the past. Part C looks at accounting regulation processes. So it's a smaller section, 2 marks and 200 words. Here we're discussing accounting regulation as the output of a political process. Do you disagree or do you agree? And you must justify your answer why or why not. Really here we're thinking about what are the social and economic consequences for the property developers in the case and the users of the financial statements. But it's important really to remember that you're discussing accounting regulation and political process. How does accounting regulation affect the political process? Part D is your journal and reflection. So this is 4 marks. There's no required length, perhaps 4 to 5 paragraphs. Really think about how has this assignment and the course in general helped to develop your graduate attributes. The graduate attributes are available to you on your course profile. Have a look at them. Think these are the things that you are expected to be able to do after doing the course. How has doing the course made you more competent in these attributes? How can you do it? You know, self-reflection is really an important part of any learning process. And here you could probably consider things like how has your ability to research improved? What about your ability to critically analyze sources? If you're working in a group, how has that process improved your ability to work with other people in groups? Really, you're showing how this assignment has improved your skills. One way of doing it is to really discuss what you were like before you did the assignment or before you did the course and what you're like after. In this section, you're really telling your teacher how you have changed through the learning process. And it's wise to really look at it, be honest, and also just express that, find examples of how you have improved. So perhaps your research was not as strong in the past. This time you've improved your research. This section should really be looking deep within yourself and going, well, what have I got out of this assignment? If you do work in a group, then there's another subsection you need to do, which is provide a work journal. So in this is really, it's probably in a table format, stating when you got together, where you got together, what you did, and how you worked together. So was it positive, was it negative? It should really, the aim of this part of the assignment is to show that all group members worked equally on the assignment. Again, talking about group work, before you begin your group, you should really think about making a small group charter to discuss different roles, to discuss what's going to happen if you have trouble. This is a way of your teacher making sure that everybody has contributed equally to the work, and if people haven't contributed equally, this is where you are able to show that they haven't. So perhaps they didn't come to many meetings. You're able to show that in this area. This is a way of making sure that all members of the group work hard and equally and share the work fairly. Okay, more help and advice. Some helpful tips, as always, start early. It's really important to begin an assignment early so that you give yourself lots of time and you're not working under pressure. Always read deeply before you begin writing or formalizing your answer. So the more that you can read about the theories, the more that you can read about the situation, obviously the more informed you are. The more informed you are, the better off you can write your assignment, the more you have to say. Use the course Moodle site. So by this I mean have a look at the forums, use the forums to ask your teachers questions, use the forums to discuss your ideas with other students. There's nothing wrong with collaborative learning. So look really at the course. So read deeply into the course. Read into the first topic, look at the videos that are available to you, go through the reading list, look at the other help. The Moodle site and the course is really there for you. Look at future weeks on the Moodle site, because there's things that if you start early, then the assignment's not due until week 9. Some of the information from week 5 or 6, perhaps 7 or 8, may be relevant to your answer in the assignment. So have a look further into the course to see if any of the points from further weeks might help you to answer the questions more broadly. Lastly, as I've said, check the forums. Make sure you do it regularly so that you're keeping in touch with information as it comes and goes. You're always welcome to contact the Academic Learning Centre on your campus. If you're a Flex student, you can go to the Academic Learning Centre Moodle site for more online help. There you'll find links to pre-submission checking, and you can set up collaborate sessions with Academic Learning Centre advisors if you're having trouble. Thank you very much for watching the slideshow. If you've got any more questions, please do get in touch with us, and good luck.